Blizzard is nerfing Mythic Plus dungeons, and the God comp is getting even more nerfs. But for now, servers are down. My name is Swag, and this is the Vault Day Update. Kicking off the news this week is the Kalimdor Cup. This is a dragon riding race across Kalimdor. It started last week, and it is continuing this week. If you have not yet competed in it, you can win prizes like these different dragon appearances and even a transmog set. However, you earn the prizes by collecting coins from competing in the different races across Kalimdor. And the races can get pretty complicated. There are normal modes and there's more difficult modes. And from what I've heard, it's hard to get coins from the more difficult mode. So if you want to unlock as many things as you possibly can, instead of trying to run at the hardest difficulty, jump on your alts and run it with your alts on normal difficulty, and you'll earn coins on all of those alts and just unlock the different things separately, but they will be across your entire account. So if you want to unlock all the transmogs or the dragon appearances, you can do so even if you're not the greatest dragon rider in the entire world of Warcraft. If you want to try something new this week's PvP Brawl is Arathi Blizzard. Now, it's just like Arathi Basin, one of the best battlegrounds in the entire game. If you want to fight me on that, post in the comments. Build up this video. What makes it so unique, though, is the snow drifts everywhere, the frozen landscape. You can travel and get to spots that maybe you couldn't have before, and your enemies will surprise you as they jump from the blizzard. And if you love Battlegrounds, don't worry, you got even more Battleground stuff happening this week, because our bonus event is the Battleground bonus event, so you can earn extra honor and rewards from doing Battlegrounds. If you're looking to do Mythics this week, the affixes are Fortified, Storming, and Bursting. Now, Fortified is going to give your non-boss enemies more HP, so they're going to be a little harder to kill. They're going to deal a little bit more damage, so be careful in your pulling. And Storming will cause little white circles to form on the ground as you're pulling enemies. Those circles will eventually turn into full-on tornadoes. Those tornadoes will throw you up in the air and deal quite a bit of damage, so you want to try and avoid them. Now, once they've spawned, they will become mobile, and they will move in a somewhat erratic pattern, so be careful and watch out for them. They can be quite dangerous, but at the same time, if you're aware, they're an extremely easy mechanic to handle and makes this a bit of an easier week to deal with. What doesn't make it an easy week, though, is bursting. And bursting can do a lot of damage. How it works is when you kill an enemy, every player in your party will get a bursting debuff. Now, this debuff can stack, and when it expires, it will do a lot of damage. So the best thing you can do is either pull smaller and let the bursting stacks fade away as you kill enemies instead of taking it all at once. Or what you can do is still continue to pull somewhat larger packs, but have a priest in your group who can mass dispel when those stacks become a little too high for a healer to manage. That's right, bursting is dispellable. So if anybody in your group appears to be at risk of dying from bursting going off, you can also dispel that as well. Bursting is fairly easy to handle so long as you're aware of it, but if you're unaware of it, you might find yourself eliminating a pretty tough enemy and then going down yourself. Speaking of Mythic Plus, they have been nerfed, and it's kind of weird to say that, but any key higher than a level 20 is only going to increase at each key level by 8%, whereas before it was 10%. This has come as a response to Blizzard nerfing what is known as the God comp, or the current meta composition in the game, which is a Bear Druid tank, a Mage, Shadow Priest, Aug Evoker, and a Holy Paladin to heal. The reason for this is as they get nerfed, players are concerned that the best key runs will now be locked in and no one will be able to surpass or set new records, since all of a sudden the best options are not as strong as they once were. So Blizzard has now nerfed all Mythic Plus dungeons over level 20. Let me clarify, until level 20, they still increase in difficulty at the same rate. But after level 20, they will only increase in difficulty by 8% as opposed to 10%. And speaking of those nerfs, we got a bunch more nerfs happening this week, and a couple buffs too. As I'm sure everyone is curious at this point, we are seeing nerfs happen to Guardian Druids, Holy Paladins, and Mages. Interestingly enough, though, we are not seeing any more nerfs occur to Augmentation Evokers, and they seem to be pretty busted in the meta right now, especially with how much they can add to a group. I'm not sure if we'll see nerfs occur going into Season 3, what Blizzard's plan is there, but right now, Augmentation Invoker is here to stay. Mistweaver Monks, though, you're seeing some pretty good healing buffs coming in, so if you've got your Mistweaver Monk sitting on the shelf waiting for next season, I'm looking at you, Wax, in my guild. You just got called out! I know you're watching. Dust them off. Get in those dungeons, try it out. You got some good buffs coming your way, some serious healing increases, which I'm sure will feel great. We're also seeing some minor buffs come in as well for Prot Warriors and Assassination Rogues. Blizzard has given us more information on the Dreamsurge events happening in patch 10.1.7. Every 30 minutes, a portal will open up in one of the 4 major zones of the Dragon Isles, whether it's the Waking Shores, Thaldraszus, Azurspan, or the Onaran Plains. Players can participate in the event in order to receive some awesome catch-up gear. So if you have some level 70s that you've wanted to catch up, or you're getting back into the game, you can now get yourself geared up and ready for patch 10.2. What I found very interesting, though, is that players leveling in the zone affected by the event at that time will gain a 25% experience buff. So if you're trying to level up some characters from 60 to 70, you can now do so in those zones. And I believe, if I recall correctly, there is a buff as well coming out that patch that will allow you to gain a stacked experience buff from doing time walking dungeons. So you can combine those 2 buffs, if I understand this correctly, for some seriously fast power leveling. And lastly, we've got a pretty curious little bit of news coming in from Blizzard. It's very fascinating, but it is an event coming up. We don't have too many details on it other than that it will start August 31st and end around September 13th. But how it's going to work, well, we don't really know. We have some details, but it's called the Secrets of Azeroth, and it seems to be almost like an ARG built into World of Warcraft, some sort of scavenger hunt or something fun that we can do together as players. It's not a reoccurring yearly event. They've made that clear. But essentially what it appears to be is that they will be giving us some clues and hints throughout the length of the event, more and more as the event goes on. And we as players need to work together to solve these clues. So I don't really know what it looks like. Nobody seems to have an entire picture, but it seems fun. And I'm interested in it, especially now that we are kind of at the back end of a season, right? Most of us have finished up raiding for the season, and we're kind of just tinkering around on Mythic Plus. So this would be a lot of fun for us to take part in. And that's everything happening this week in the World of Warcraft. But before you go, I'd love to try something new. Comment down below questions that you might have that you would love to see answered or my response to on a future video. I just think it would be awesome to be more interactive and hear what our community is saying. Hopefully the servers are back up, and I will see you here again next week.